y'all really covered in depth, and I learned a lot on a lot of the issues. I mean, pretty much five of the viewpoints that we went over, and maybe you covered this as well. But do either of you think this move is provocative or would provoke China and Russia to expand? Because that was one of the viewpoints that someone had on our research survey, or is that not an issue?
Who are
I
you
want
asking?
well, go ahead.
Both,
Okay,
both of
well,
both of you can respond.
I
First, the
look
ambassador
at
seems.
yeah, I look at Spratly Islands where China has expanded under President Obama. Xi Jinping said, we're just going in there. We're not going to militarize the Spratly Islands, which were disputed islands. They weren't owned by China. And son of a gun if he didn't absolutely militarize them. So what China is doing is spreading out their territory in order to launch war to have more influence in the world militarily. But you can see they're opening bases in places like Djibouti. They're also opening giant shipping ports, for instance, in South America and throughout the world. I mean, there are European countries part of the Belt and Road Initiative. So China is absolutely expanding its sphere of influence. And like I said earlier, they claim to be a near polar country, and they claim ownership to about 40% of the wealth under the sea and in the ground in the Arctic, because they say they have that many population, so they should be entitled to it. There's a very sort of supremacist sort of idea in the Chinese culture that they're entitled to this. And so I think that we do have to sort of make sure that Greenland is secure and in a good place, because China doesn't stop. They play the long game. They have their 5-year plans, but they have their 100-year plan. And so we are, getting toward the end of the 100-year marathon. And we want to make sure that our North America is not in the Chinese sphere of influence. It goes for in the South as well. It's not just Greenland. It's in the southern US, for instance, South America and Central America. The majority of those countries' number one trading partner is China, and they're
Ambassador
part of the
Gifford.
Belt and Road. Yeah.
I'm actually I think the argument that Carlos Sanz is making right now is exactly why we cannot pursue the same road right now, because what it does is we lose the moral high ground. Because the essence of your question, David, is if we were to, through imperialistic means, take over Greenland in a non-democratic and not diplomatic way, at what point can we have the moral high ground to say to China, well, you can't do the same thing to Taiwan? At what point can you not say to Russia, you can't do the same thing to Ukraine or Moldova or what have you? And I could not agree more. Do I think that this allows the United States to lose that moral authority? 100%. And that is probably the issue right now that is most important to someone like me and someone who cares so much about these transatlantic relationships.
Okay, great conversation.